Hello everybody, Travis here for Tpull's Corner, and I have a new deck today. I'm using Hidetsugu and Carry. We've done this before, but before we did either blue, black, and red, or Dimir colors of just blue and black. This time I'm adding in a splash of green, so we're going to be Sultai today. And we're going to see how good Hidetsugu and Carry do with the help of some green spells. Just because I haven't seen anyone else do it. So I got curious. I don't have any black mana yet. That's going to be a problem. Half my spells, well, more than half my spells are black. And that's how this is going to be today. Is it, Arena? This is actually how it's been the past couple days. It's been pretty disgusting. Opponents get exactly what they need. Never miss a land drop. And me, it falls into groups of three. For the opponent, it's one or two things. Either they do chunks of 9 cards and 4 chunks of each, and they get exactly what they need, either in terms of all completely separate, unique cards, or cards that have synergies like this where they buff each other up. They always get the duplicates. So that's how it is for them. Here I didn't even get a land drop, and I'm just going to die. And so the thirds that it's been happening to me is land starvation, of course, missing land drops, absolutely flooding out, like getting 9 land cards and not much in the way of spells. And look at that. What are the odds? 4 of the exact same card. What did I even tell you? And the third thing that happens is this, where I have 3 colors and I don't get my third color. But there's not necessarily a way to tell that that's the way it's going to turn out at the beginning. And usually we have a better start than that. But let me go in and show you the full deck. And our subscriber count is slowly growing, so thank you all for subscribing. If you're brand new, go ahead and hit subscribe. Thunderous Virtue, named after a couple of the green cards. I usually just find a couple of different spells and mash them up to create the name of the deck, so it helps me remember what the theme is. I have 100 decks running at any one time, usually 99 to 100. So the naming mechanism helps me differentiate them all. Alright, you can see we are expensive, so we're pushing things over here. Let me give you the overview. Come on. We'll do it. There we go, just 9 creatures. Average mana cost is 4.9, 26 lands, so we did throw a couple of extra lands in there above the default. 2 cut downs for removal and 4 Shieldred's Edicts. 1 Celestus is a Monodork to help out. I consider that my 27th land. And 4 of the creatures are 4 Blossoming Tortoise. So whenever they enter the battlefield or attack, we mill 3 cards and we get a land card from the graveyard back to the battlefield tapped. So that should help out with our lands. Normally with Hidetsugu and Carry, when it enters the battlefield, we get to draw 3 cards, put 2 back on top of the library in any order, and when it dies, you exile the top card of your library, and target opponent loses life equal to its mana value. So we have a lot of really expensive instants and sorceries, and not only do they take damage from that, but we can cast it without paying its mana cost. So that's pretty good. Things that we have to help us out with that, some of the instants and sorceries, 4 copies of Vat Emergence. So if they kill Hidetsugu and Carry, and this is the top card, they take 5 points of damage, and then we get to go into our graveyard and bring Hidetsugu and Carry right back out. So we create a little loop there. We've also got Cruelty of Gix, which is an enchantment saga, And you notice on Chapter 3, put target creature from a graveyard onto the battlefield. So we can really get this back. So that's a big theme of this particular deck, because green and black are both pretty good about getting creatures out of the graveyard. So here, for example, Diagraph Rebirth, return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. And it's got flashback, so we can use it twice. The expensive spells, between 6 to 8 mana, we have Artistic Refusal, can counter target spell, or if we can invoke, well, we can do both. We can counter target spell, or we can draw 2 cards and discard a card. We've got Cosmic Epiphany, so if we have a whole bunch of instants and sorceries in the graveyard, then we get to draw more and more cards with that. Rise of the Ants gives us more creatures, and we gain 2 life, and it has flashback, so we can do it again. Titania's Command, we've got 4 options, and we get to choose 2 of them. We usually don't want to exile our graveyard, but we could exile their graveyard. Storm the Festival, look at the top 5 cards of your library, put up to 2 permanent cards with mana value 5 or less onto the battlefield. So this will hit all of our main creatures, right? Any copy of Hidetsugu and Carry, or the Blossoming Tortoise. We've got 1 Yargle and Multani for an 18/6 creature, 2 Breach the Multiverse, which is a very standard combination with Hidetsugu and Carry, 2 Virtue of Persistence that we can use to get other creatures, maybe from their graveyard, back out later, or just get our Hidetsugu and Carry back. Herd Migration, we're usually using this to discard it and go look for a land, but we might put it on the top with Hidetsugu and Carry and make sure that our opponent takes 7 damage from the spell first. We've got another Virtue card. This is one of the most common ones you'll see is Virtue of Persistence. I don't know how common Virtue of Strength is, but I am seeing it more and more. For the sorcery part, for the adventure, Garenbrig Growth, you just return target creature or land card from your graveyard to your hand. So yet another way, really big theme on getting into our graveyard and getting things out, assuming that they're going to kill my stuff. For the enchantment, it costs 7. If you tap a basic land for mana, it produces 3 times as much instead. And so Virtue of Strength and Thunderous Debut basically are what make up the Thunderous Virtue name of this deck. Thunderous Debut costs 8. You look at the top 20 cards of your library, reveal up to 2 creatures, and if you bargain it, meaning you sacrifice something with it, you can put them onto the battlefield. So that would be a fun combination card with Hidetsugu and Carry. So we'll see if we can get any of this to work. I took out another really expensive deck. And when I say really expensive, I just mean that it had 2 creatures, 4 creatures that were kind of 6, 7 cost. And that was it. You know, a lot of the other stuff was like 1, 2, and 3 drops as far as the casting spells. And it used to work really well. And the worm has turned. I don't know if it's because the algorithm on Arena has changed or it's just an off day. Sometimes I have off days where no matter what, nothing in your deck seems to work. And so far, that's been my day today. But it just kind of depends on, you know, is Arena going to make me pay for something for the rest of the day? Because, like, this is kind of fitting in with the way Cosmic Epiphany, only 1 copy, but it is one of the more expensive spells in the deck, and we get it right at the very top, along with Yargle and Multani. We are actually going to see a lot of expensive stuff up front, because we are top. Let's see. Whenever a token enters a battlefield, put a +1 counter on it. Whenever the measure attack, another target gets +1/+1. Okay. Let's get them out of here. At least 1. Easy come, easy go. Okay, we need 1 more blue source so we can get to carry out. Let's give them some choices here. Which one do you value the least of those three? They get rid of a tough cookie. I would have thought they would have gotten rid of Wildwood Mentor first. And there we go. Let's go get Tough Cookie. So one black, old one blue mana would work for any spell that I have. Alright, what do we want to do? I think the one spell we can cast. That seems good. Alright, what are they gonna go get? They go get the blob. And you can cast it right away. Other stuff instead. This now. I think so. Okay, search out the 2 land cards, and I think we go ahead and just create some creatures here. Black and blue, I think. Let's go ahead. We'll get the combinations going. Could be a problem. So you have trampled, but you're not going to attack. You're saving up for one big hit. Looks like a good order. Pass the turn. 5 defenders. They could just wait us out and just have the consuming blood make repeated tokens. This thing's only going to get bigger, right? Time seems to be on their side. Sit there until they have an absolutely, completely, totally overpowering advantage, and then they'll bum rush me. So, we're not going to wait for that. I know I'm supposed to attack first, right? Okay, 6 damage. We'll take that one, I guess. And that one. And number 3. Put a creature. Let's look in my graveyard. Look, there's a Hidetsugu and Carry in the graveyard. Oh. What's on the top? 7 points of damage. And we can put these in here. And that's a good... What was the spell we lost? Oh, Virtue of Strength. Okay. That still works. Okay, 2 cards into our library. This one and this one again. Seems like a good order. Cast this. And I think it's time that we go ahead and get rid of you. And what can they do? If they don't get Trample, we'll be okay. And we do have 3 more life here. So if they calculate 21, maybe they forget. No, they just got land. They can use Ozolith once, right? And they're just going to buff up the same one. Third game life, okay. Okay, that's a big Wildwood Mentor. Alright, let's see. I think we draw some cards. That was pretty disgusting. That was mostly lands. And I don't feel like I can attack. I need Hidetsugu and Carry to die. That's 12, 16 lands. Does my enemy have any clue that all I did was draw a bunch of lands? Alright, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to attack for 5 points. We're going to use Diagraph Rebirth. We're going to get one back. We're going to keep the one that's not tapped. The land did absolutely nothing to them. And then we'll use these 2. And hopefully Hidetsugu and Carry dies again. And I'm just going to end the turn there. I think this cut down I can use on the 1/1 human, and that's about it. That's the only valid area. Oh, that was a mistake. Maybe you should have done that earlier? Nothing has Trample, right? You're not gonna get Trample all of a sudden, are you? Well, they do have to try something. This is usually where they scoop. 7 points. We cast Breach the Multiverse. What do we want to get? We can go get Planeswalker and Hidetsugu and Carry.
I must bend Realm Breaker to my will.
Ooh, there's a Thunderous debut. We kind of run out of other spells to put in there, didn't we? I guess one of the spare lands. Alright, and since we drew that, let's just go ahead and use it. We'll bargain. We'll get rid of a bear token. And thanks to my opponent for not scooping. They're actually letting us play the cards. And we bring in another Hidetsugun Carry. Take that one. And that's enough. Artistic Refusal. They're already dead from the stuff, but it lets me get to that point in the spell casting. I can't remember the last time an opponent hung in for the entire one. I don't know if they're still there, but thank you. That let me demonstrate almost everything in the entire deck already. And so you can see just about everywhere that we were the entire time. If we had a Hidetsugun carry out, it just wasn't beneficial for them to attack because we could block. There was one time in there where two other creatures had trample and they were pretty significantly big already. I think they missed a chance there. But for those of you who have Hidetsugun carry, and you haven't looked into green yet, look into green. It's kind of fun. If we get a Hidetsugun carry, we can just add this to the top of the pile. So we might not have to use it for the basic land, but we might as well. So I've got some time before I have to commit. Yeah, they're gonna get my tortoise, aren't they? Going after my tortoise. That effectively neuters me. I'm very familiar with the Bloodletter of Alcazatz, I guess I should call it. I used it quite a bit during the early access event. Ended up with some good spells in the graveyard. Can't be helped if you're going to use Blossoming Tortoise. An on-curve 4-drop Shieldred? I'm not ready for that. I need to get Hidetsugun carry first. Nope, doesn't do me any good to block right now. Draw! So 3, 4, 4. I still can't. How many basic land types do I have? I guess I just straight cast this now. Yeah, like I'm going to attack into that. I need one more land. Or, I guess I could just give up the ghost on Otawara. And use that for Thunderous debut. Oh, hello. I was gonna say. Uh-oh. getting rid of that thing finally to stop the exploring. Okay, that was not what I wanted. I did not get a creature in my graveyard. They don't have a creature in their graveyard. Let's bargain this. Oh yes, finally we got some stuff. And I guess those two? Down to 4. And Shieldred's actually going to be the death of me. I can't have to block the flyers? I can't. I only have one flyer. It doesn't matter. They're going to get me. They got me dead to rights already. Discarding a card. Okay. Shieldred in particular is a big threat to me, just because Hit Itsugo makes you draw 3 cards. So that's a loss of 6 life right there every time. I suppose I could go more removal heavy. I've only got a handful of removal cards. And most of them are not targetable enough if there's more than one creature on the field. So all they need is Shieldred and one other creature, and Shieldred's Edict kind of becomes worthless, right? My opponent's name is Wisdom. How can you beat Wisdom? I mean, it's Wisdom. Didn't want to use that, but we can't have this guy doing anything to us. I'm trying to right-click on it to show it more, but my cat just jumped up on the keyboard and is messing with things. Just to show you how they can make us get rid of an land card. Okay, Satoru is kind of insidious. Another big threat that we don't really want to let stay around. And if we don't get more land, we're already in trouble, right? Okay, that will give me exactly what I need. They're tapped out now. Will they be able to kill me next turn? And what do we take here? I think, let's see, Vat Emergence and Storm the Festival? In that order? Or in this order? I think in this order. This guarantees that Hidetsugu and Carry come right back. They've got 5 mana. Are they really gonna just sit there and take 5 points to the face every turn? Even with all the trouble that it is to kill Hidetsugu and Carry, most people still kill it right away. Unless they have an exile card, which... And there's other stuff that Blue could do. Blue could bounce it if they just wanted to bounce it. Depends on what's in their deck. They do have a lot of options. Ah, so they bounce it. Uh-oh. Oh, they took the one card I had. Oh, there goes most of my removal. All in one fell swoop. Great. And they get to rifle through all of my deck. Cosmic Persistence deck down to 0 again. Okay, now they lose insight because they don't know which 2 cards I chose to put on the top. So even though they knew everything, they saw everything in my hand and library. If they remember what I've got, they might know what I did. They might guess what my choices were, but because I could have put any 2 cards back on top of that library, all the red eyeballs went away. They don't get to see any of my stuff right now. They did it! Diagraph Rebirth, they take 5 points. We get hit at Sugo and carry back. Draw 3 cards. We're starting to get not so good choices, right, already. You're not going to kill it again, are you? Well, if they attack, I'll block. If they attack, I will block. Okay, that makes Vision of the Unspeakable less powerful with every card they play. And that doesn't necessarily help them a lot, does it? Oh, I'm trading that. 6 more points of damage to your face. And we get to cast this. And let's see. Create 2. And let's get a couple land cards. Because I'm already kind of flooding out as it is. Alright. That's kind of cool. Let's see. 3, 4, 5, 6. And we can put down the Celestis. That's fine. I just want to use Artistic Refusal. I haven't used this card yet. And since I flooded out so heavy with land, I can definitely do the second part here. Yeah, why not? Counter that. Draw 2. Discard 2. Oh, just discard a card. Draw 2 and discard 1. We still just got more land. It's like 13, 14 lands and 5, 6, 7, 11 spells. Sounds about the way things have been going. Let's just have some fun with Storm the Festival. It's more lands. Oh my goodness. Now this is... I'm gonna have to put this on my playlist about the issue with the tutor cards. They keep making these cards where you look at the top so many cards of your library because they say they don't like tutor cards, but really just giving me a couple of lands is just another way of whipping. Let's do this. Okay. I've got a ton of land now. That's 17, 18 out of the 26 lands. So I've got 75% other cards than lands left. And there are more efficient ways to do this, right? I could be using Virtue of Persistence. I could be using Diagraph Rebirth. But you know what? I don't play Storm the Festival that often. And I'm just having fun. I'm not in ranked, so... I got creatures! 2 creatures! Get to mill all the stuff that I want, right? All the stuff I would prefer to have gets milled. Okay, and... Let's force that. They could still do a... No, that's not the draw card. Okay. So we thin out our deck. There's only 19 cards left. And we just got a nice little solid wall here, so I'm not really worried about anybody doing anything. And I still had some mana left. But it's too late for them to use their ninjutsu. They need flyers. We've done pretty good. 18 cards left compared to their 41. So you can see how things work with us sometimes in terms of getting through our deck. And granted, part of it is just that we let it out. There's nothing in their hand, so let's skip chapter 1. We'll go straight to chapter 2. We'll search our card. We don't want to do Breach the Multiverse, actually. But I do want to scare them, so how about this? If I were them, I would be a little intimidated by now. Yeah, okay. You'll take action. Yeah, let's take one of these. Kind of cool, right? And do they have more of these? Oh, they don't. Darn it. Oh well. I get the one. Let's just get all our land back. Does that leave me with 5 cards? That seems fair. They don't want to go. I think they knew the gig was up. Or is it the jig is up? I forget how the phrasing works on that. Alright, so it's probably like a 50-50% kind of win deck. Just because I like to go big when I'm doing Hidetsugu and Carry. So it doesn't matter if it was my first deck where I used like 15 mana casting creatures, or if it's time to use instants and sorceries. You can see I like to find the biggest, most expensive cards that there are in whatever the third color is and use them. So we've done everything except white, so I'll probably do one more deck with Hidetsugu and Carry, and instead of green or red we'll include white, and we'll see how that goes. But I had a lot of fun with this. You can see that I don't have a ton of removal. I've got 6 early spells, and let's see, what else? I've got 2 of the Virtue of Persistence, basically. So I've only got 8. That's kind of low. But, you know, I need room for all these other cards. I want to play Hidetsugu and Carry, and when I do play Hidetsugu and Carry, I want to hit it big. And so you can see that I'm virtually guaranteed to hit it big. And if I'm not going to hit it big, I'm just going to get Hidetsugu and Carry back and get another chance to hit it big. And the only drawback is, as you can see, we ended up getting just a ton of land out of there and going through our deck pretty quick. So you do have to be careful with the Blossoming Tortoises that you don't mill yourself out. And I think if you go less than 26 lands, though, you're really asking for trouble with the land management, just because everything else costs so much. But typically, you can get to Hidetsugu and Carry fast, and you can still cast some of these. And then after that, it's not too much of a stretch with the 4 Blossoming Tortoises and the Celestis to get enough mana to just start hard casting these, as you saw. I mean, we ended up with, where's Storm the Festival, the flashback for 10, not a problem. And I sort of have to beg forgiveness for some of my opponents, because I don't put them down fast, but that's because I'm playing with my food. But I do that mostly because I'm showing off how the deck works for you all as the viewing audience. And so sometimes I just sort of treat it like an early access event, even though you might be familiar with the cards. You might not have seen them used in this particular combination before. So a lot of these cards that it's fun to see a Thunderous debut cast when they kill a Hidetsugu and carry. It's not something you see every day. It's not something that most people are thinking of, but my brain goes in that direction. So I have to satisfy the yearnings of my brain. So with that, remember to like and subscribe. Let me know what you think of the deck. Leave comments if you think that I've got too little removal, too few creatures. What would you do to change this up? Or is it like Goldilocks? Is it good, just perfect, just the way it is? And next time, I don't know when I'll get to the white color, but I'll get to adding white in instead of green or red with Hidetsugu and carry, and we'll do another one of these. Sound good? All right. Thanks, everybody. Thanks for coming. Thanks for tuning in. Have a good one.